much consumption of social media making us stupid? Why would I say that? I was actually going for insensitive, but stupidity has, I don't know, a source into it. The reason why the it's not that deep narrative thrives so much in our generation, especially in SA, is because we are so accustomed to consuming to the point where interrogating what we're consuming is just too much work. We are so addicted to entertainment, therefore, entertainers, we are willingly, or we would rather march the streets for a Big Brother contestant. I don't know what his name is. We are willing to cancel Scott because he didn't want to take a picture with a fan. But we quickly forgive influencers who irresponsibly promoted a human trafficking syndicate. What? Ooh, what a time to be alive. Hi, I'm Yandi. Nice to meet you if this is the first time seeing me. And hi, my love, if you are coming back. I talk about deconstructing harmful narratives that disconnect us from ourselves, therefore our bodies. I recently started a series called It Is That Deep, where I take random things that are not serious and make them a big deal. Today we are talking about parasocial relationships.
Who's your favorite artist?
What?
Who is your favorite artist?
Little Gibble.
Huh?
Little Gibble.
How many Grammys does Lil Gibble have?
I don't know.
None. Naja has 26. Do you think Little Gibble is better than Naja?
Please, I don't know.
A parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship between a consumer and an entertainer, where the consumer dedicates their money, time, efforts, mind, body, and spirits to the entertainer, right? Or to a person that do not know they exist, which is the entertainer. In return, the entertainer shows a packaged version of their reality, right? It's the entertainer, it's the consumer. The consumer dedicates their life into this entertainer that doesn't know they exist. In return, the entertainer shows a packaged version of their life. If the entertainer does this well, right, the dynamic relationship between the entertainer and the consumer creates a following, sometimes a cult following. So where there's people, right, there is money. Where there's traction, there is money, hence brand collaborations, right? So this dynamic relationship is such an important factor in not only the media industry, but we can see also just in business also, right? And it's an important factor when it comes to brand collaborations. Sharp. So because this has become such an important fact even in the media industry, even actors today, right? They are faced with a situation where they are asked their following instead of their talent, right? Do you have a certain number of following before you come and act on our screen?
Social media frenzy world where even at an audition you have to write how many followers you have, and I always leave it out because I'm like, what does this have to do with my talent? Just put me on tape and see if I'm good enough.
To the point where now we have influencers, right, who have become actors on our television screens. Have you guys seen Generations?
I should film you. My camera! Mine was right here!
That is a prime example of the importance of this dynamic in the entertainment industry. Celebrity culture is a business symbolic relationship, right, where an entertainer attains economic and social power in exchange for intimacy with their audience. The celebrity culture phenomena, right, is rooted in the portrayal that the consumer has the ability to attain that very same social and economic status that their favorite entertainer has. Not only that, but because of this relationship that the consumer has with the entertainer, right? It provides this sense of illusion, right? Through escapism, right? Because you are entertained, right, by this entertainer, there is an element where you live your life through them, right? Or you live their life through them, obviously, but the phenomena is rooted in, oh my gosh, well. You feel as if you can escape into this person's life, right? Because your life is not so glamorous, it's not as beautiful, or you're not as beautiful, or you're not as talented, you see yourself in them, right? Now, because of this phenomena, right? A cult following happens. A cult is where the cult following brews, right? Because this public figure or entertainer has a certain stardom, right? They are given this title or this pedestal of being a hero, of being a shepherd, of being even a godlike figure. Therefore, the consumer, the sheep, the followers, the worshippers. Parasocial relationships provide this sense of belonging and identity, right? Just like religious and spiritual figures who possesses some form of extraordinary magical powers, they have an expectation or expect veneration from a group of people who necessarily do not have control of their reality, right? Take Beyonce, for example. Her and Jay-Z are a public figure that represents Black consciousness, right? Through their music and through their arts, essentially, right? Those very same people are the figures that comes back and capitalizes from that very same Black community, right? And what do they promise in return? An arousal of deep emotions that are associated with sacredness and healing, and also arousal deep emotions that is associated with representation. Anthropological studies of shamanism and religion, right, shows the relation between religion and parasocial relationship, and such as that just like religion has, or spiritual practices have, sacred dates, sacred rites, sacred statues, and sacred holidays, parasocial relationships possesses those very same elements, right? Where we have sacred dates, sacred rites, sacred statues, and sacred holidays for certain public figures. For example, Nelson Mandela ticks all of the above. Because of the parasocial relationship that we have with entertainers and public figures, we can be easily blindsided from the responsibility that they have, or the responsibility that they need to have. I don't know if that makes sense, right? But going back to Nelson Mandela, for example, right, because of the social and economic power that he possessed, and because of how important he is in terms of the end of apartheid, and how he basically portrayed or promised rainbow nation, right? That has become a blind sight to us, right, Black people, because we still experience a different socio-economic background compared to the palm-colored people. There is no equality. Rainbow nation is a lie. Right? So, because of the stories and because of the relationship that we have with certain public figures, it can blindside us from the reality. It can blindside us from the truth of the reality, right? Everyone is a feminist and a social activist until Chris Brown comes and performs, right? And the Chris Brown situation, if I could explain it in my perspective, right? When Chris Brown came into South Africa, right, to perform, the Women of Change, a social organization that is for women and for the justice of women, wanted to cut that off, wanted to cancel all of that. Why? Because Chris Brown has numerous allegations of woman abuse. What did y'all do? You wanted to cancel Women for Change instead of the man who is beating up women. Till this day, I swear, if I could Google right now the last allegation that Chris Brown faced, there's no way it's older than 2 months. Let's bet. Let us bet. So, parasocial relationship, right? Because they provide an arousal of deep emotions, because they provide a cyberwhelling element, because they provide this stardom, right? They have this talent or beauty or a life that we do not necessarily have and that we want to experience. It can blindside us from the reality of the truth, therefore validating even or supporting even abusive men just because they are light-skinned and can dance. I remember when someone hopped on TikTok and tried educating black people why Leon Schuster exploits black culture and makes fun of black culture and makes money through making fun of black culture. People were losing their mind, right? People were losing their mind because obviously Leon Schuster is an entertainer, right? That has entertained us so our entire childhood, right? And because of their parasocial relationship with his movies and his entertainment, we did not want to deconstruct why he's racist, or we do not want to deconstruct the fact that he uses blackface, or we even say things like access America, blah 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 blah. Right? South Africans are enablers of problematic issues, problematic behaviors, because we have this thing you would see it's not that deep, or we have this thing you would see we joke about everything, right? There is such an obvious thing about us. Yeah, I guess it's a way to cope, it's a coping mechanism, but this thing of us not taking certain things seriously and not willing to deconstruct problematic things or behaviors just for an exchange of that escapism or exchange of that deep arousal emotion, right, of happiness. Now, because of these deep emotions provided by entertainers, marketers are very aware of this parasocial dynamic that we have with public figures, right? Whoever is responsible for EPR Yaga Mr. Cupcakes, Mr. Ramaphosa, clock it. What? Bro, have you guys Exhibit A? I will just show the video. Because of the parasocial relationship he is creating with us, making him a cutie patootie, making him a cupcake, it blindsides us from a problematic situation we are in SA, right? As much as we are going to sit here and collectively agree with Sina, we are in a messed up situation, social economically in SA. These videos will flood during the time to vote. They will flood on our faces. And do you think your granny who was kissing Ramaphosa is gonna stand in a certain line? She will stand in the ANC line, Chomi. She will vote for ANC, Chomi. You will vote for ANC because, oh my gosh, let's forgive him. He's such a cutie patootie. Forgetting that the unemployment rate is at 80%, I'm sure, today. So, there is a situation, a very serious situation. There are influencers, right? Entertainers who hopped online and advertised an opportunity for young women to go fly to Russia, an opportunity to work. From the age of 18 to 22, those are the women who are provided that opportunity to go stay in Russia and study. Only to find out after them advertising this literally in a day, that's allegedly, that's Russia program known as Alobuga is actually a human trafficking syndicate. And after finding that out, right, the influencers disappeared for 2 days. All of them, they disappeared for 2 days and came back with an apology, right? And came back saying they did not know. Number one, they're responsible. They didn't research. They did not research, right? They didn't become responsible as public figures who are literally advertising an opportunity for young girls to go live in Russia. Number one. Number two, this is such a sad situation because not only, I guess, is, I don't know, their apology low key a waste of time. We have people in their comments, right, saying, "Ugh, I forgive you because you're pretty. Ugh, I forgive you because they can never make me hate you. Ugh, I forgive you because you are so funny and you are so cute and beautiful." Let's go back. What is the core element or phenomena of a parasocial relationship? It is escapism, right? The consumer, right, is provided certain emotions to the extent where they live their lives through that entertainer. Because their life is not as entertaining, they are not as talented, and they are not as beautiful, they develop this relationship with someone who is like that or who reflects something that they would love to be or love to attain, right? Therefore, we have comments like, "Oh my gosh, I'll forgive you because you're pretty." That's because the parasocial relationship that they have with that person is beauty. She's not as pretty as me, therefore I like her. So she cannot do anything wrong in my eyes. It's fine. She can send those women to Russia for all I care. As long as she's pretty, then it's fine. She can do it. I think in SA especially, right? This thing of us not taking anything seriously, because obviously we consume so much and we value entertainment more than activism. We have a very particular parasocial relationship, right? It's not as because usually we have this thing yokuthi tina ama-celebrities sabadlula. If I could see Casper Nyovest walking down here, we wouldn't give an F because he's just a human being. We are not like Americans who will flood and have paparazzi and things like that. Our parasocial relationship is completely different because we wouldn't flood celebrity faces when we see them in the mall does not mean we do not have parasocial relationships with those celebrities. Our parasocial relationship is with entertainment as a whole. Would rather be entertained than to actually deconstruct or interrogate problematic behaviors or to even just interrogate ourselves. My phone keeps saying my storage is full, so I have to go now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a thing or two, and catch me on my next video. Bye.